Hey everyone, my name is Stephen Mango and welcome back to my channel. So if you haven't already seen, I have a video that's on my channel called Exposing the Lies of Marty Rathbun, and it's gotten a really big response, but a lot of you have been asking me for the proof, the receipt, so to speak. And I wanted to provide that for you guys all today. All the emails, all the screenshots. I wanted to show you guys that Marty Rathbun is a person that shouldn't be taking at his word, and he's a very dishonest person. And I just wanted to show you the contradictions in what Marty has said, and I wanted to show that Marty Rathbun has been dishonest in regard to My Scientology Movie. So to begin, some of you may be wondering, who is Stephen Mango and how do you know anything about Marty Rathbun and his involvement with My Scientology Movie? Well, if you don't already know, I am an ex-Scientologist, and I was in the film My Scientology Movie with Marty Rathbun, with Louis Theroux, and I told my personal story in the film, but I also acted in the reenactment scenes of The Hole, which is what Marty Rathbun directed. And what Marty Rathbun also says is that he had basically no involvement in regard to like the direction of the scene, and he wrote the script. I will show you and read you some lines of what Marty Rathbun actually said, but Marty wants to pretend that he wasn't involved in the whole recreation scenes or anything when he was creating the scene from head to toe. So to start from what actually happened, I have my little note here that has all the different notes on how Marty has contradicted himself. So first and foremost, with the hiring of the David Miscavige character, Marty Rathbun was involved in the casting of David Miscavige. I have an email which I will place here. I have an email from John Dower, who is the director of My Scientology Movie. And in this email, basically, Marty Rathbun is said to be helping with the casting. He said, we have Marty to help with the casting, basically. So Marty Rathbun was involved with casting the David Miscavige character. And the director, John Dower, was writing to me to find out about different casting directors and talent agents and different people who can maybe help to find the David Miscavige character, who was played by Andrew Perez, who did a very brilliant job in the film of portraying David Miscavige. He's like a very mirror image clone of David Miscavige. But initially, the director was asking me, like, how can we find the David Miscavige character? Now, they had like a casting session, which you can see in the film. And you may be wondering, like, why is it important about the casting of the David Miscavige character? Well, Marty says that it's just like some, like, fabricated production from the BBC, and they like basically added all the legs to the scene, and they added all the extra color, and it wasn't really, you know, what actually happened. But as we can see here, Marty Rathbun is in the casting sessions for the David Miscavige character. He was even pushed up to the wall by Andrew Perez, who was the actor playing David Miscavige. And Marty would do different role-playing scenes with Andrew Perez and tell him to say certain things. Come up to my face and say this, like push me up against the wall, call me a cocksucker, blah, 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 so on and so forth. So you can see all of that actually happen in the film. But you can hear Marty giggle, and he's saying, yep, he's got it. That guy, you know, is basically David Miscavige. So that's how we're starting this journey of unraveling how Marty lied about My Scientology Movie. The second point is Marty directing the training routine drills. Some of you may or may not find that as a contradiction or a lie, but it shows you that Marty Rathbun was doing the training routine drills. Marty was supervising the training routines. Marty was drilling the training routines. He was explaining how they work. He was doing a full-on recreation of the training routines. So you may be wondering, okay, so like how is that a contradiction of Marty Rathbun? Well, he's saying like he was basically like just like the victim, and he was thrown into this film and he had no idea of what was actually really going on. Interesting, Marty, because you were there directing the scene, telling them what to do, what not to do, and recreating the training routines exactly how they're done within Scientology. And you were the one that they chose to be the supervisor of these drills. So you helped bring those to life, and I think that just kind of shows like the directorial sense of Marty Rathbun. since he was directing the training routines. Then Marty Rathbun was in a scene with Louis Theroux, and they were reading a letter from one of Scientology's lawyers where they were saying that Marty has referred to David Miscavige as Ayatollah Miscavige, and he's described Scientology as radical Scientology. And then Marty was saying in the film, oh, well, that's an understatement, as if implying that he has said more and Scientology is even worse than, we all know and think it is. But then Marty wants to kind of like rewrite history, and he wants to say on his blog all these different things, and he's removing posts about David Miscavige, and he may be in good graces with the church again. But just kind of interesting that first he's saying David Miscavige is one thing, and then later on he's kind of reverting and being like, oh no, it's not as bad as we all, it's not as bad as it was seen in the film. It was just a recreation from Marty's own head, which is what basically Scientology is making him say. But I just thought that was a little tiny bit of an interesting point. Okay, so now on to the good stuff. So I have a couple more emails I'm going to insert here from the production team, whether it's Louis Theroux, whether it's from John Dower, the director, between me and the production assistants. So I'm going to put a couple of those emails in here for you to show that Marty directed these scenes. Okay, so here's where everything else lies. So Marty Rathbun went with Louis Theroux and the actor Andrew Perez into the desert, into Hemet, into where the Gold Base is, the international base of Scientology. And they were looking around this desert area because they wanted to recreate the whole. So they asked Marty Rathbun to provide a script. I even have a picture here of Louis Theroux and Andrew Perez with the script that Marty Rathbun provided to them. And I also have emails, and the emails state several things. They state, forward Marty's script. I have one that says, you have the safety net of Marty and Louis directing. I have one that says that the scene is being directed by Marty Rathbun and Louis Theroux. So those are all separate emails that have mentioned Marty as a director on several different occasions over the course of filming in 2014 and 2015. So I think that's just a little bit interesting. So Marty's in the desert and they're talking with Louis Theroux and Andrew Perez, and they're trying to figure out how to recreate the whole scene. So Marty's basically saying, like, this is a logistics nightmare. Like, you have to get all these actors and all this crew out here. And it's like this hot desert all the way from Los Angeles. But not only that, he's like, it's just like these double wide trailers, a very claustrophobic space. That's how Marty Rathbun referred to it as, a claustrophobic space. And you could recreate it on a sound studio with his help to recreate the whole scene. So that's what basically happened when they were in the desert. And then they decided to recreate these whole scenes on a sound stage. So I was asked to come back from my regular filming, which was from probably like 6 to 8 months ago. Then they started taking a different direction with the film, and they decided to do these recreation scenes. So they asked me to be in the whole scene. And they said Marty Rathbun was going to be there. And I was actually excited because I've wanted to meet Marty Rathbun just out of sheer curiosity of who Marty Rathbun is, like, not really behind closed doors, but just kind of see like who he really is in just like a natural sort of setting. I guess maybe on the film set was really not much of a natural setting, but I wanted to meet him, and get to talk to the guy because, hey, I was in Scientology for a number of years. He was one of these top guns in Scientology. I was curious to meet Marty, and I never had a problem with Marty Rathbun before, and when I was on set, I actually liked Marty Rathbun. So I don't want to make it seem like I have some vendetta against Marty Rathbun. We actually got along. I actually sent a message to Marty Rathbun and Louis Theroux inviting them to dinner after shooting. We didn't actually go to that dinner, but I did invite them to a dinner. So I never had anything against Marty Rathbun, and I didn't until he started lying about My Scientology Movie and lying about what actually went down that day, because I was there and I saw it with my very own eyes. So you have to wonder, if Marty Rathbun's willing to lie about My Scientology Movie, what else is Marty Rathbun lying about? What else is he hiding from the general public? Because it can't just be this. If he's willing to make one comment before, like when the film premiered in London, he made a comment like basically praising the film, and then once there was his lawsuit and other things going on, this is just my speculation, but there was probably some talks with Scientology, and then maybe a secret settlement deal went into place. I'm not sure. I'm not Marty Rathbun's, wife or attorney or someone who would know anything about that. But then all of a sudden, he started turning on, the production and turning on Louis Theroux and calling him different names and calling the director different things. So there was that, but that's besides the point. So let's get back to topic. So we're on set and we're filming the whole scenes. So initially Louis introduced me to Marty before we started filming and asking Marty if he was familiar with me, which he was. And we started just having some basic small talk. I actually had a moment in the film with Marty that wasn't actually shown where I was saying something and Marty was basically telling me you're the only one who gets it, you're the only one who understands, these other guys the Louis and whatever aren't gonna understand. And he had a big blow up fight with Louis during the whole scenes, and with Louis asking him just a number of different questions. Marty was getting really offended, really heated. There was a lot of tension, a lot of stuff going on that was very unpredictable, and I kind of had to step in the middle between Marty and Louis during filming. But in regard to Marty actually filming My Scientology, but in regard to Marty Rathbun actually directing the whole scene, he was 100% directing. And I even have some photos here that can kind of point that out. You could see Marty standing here talking to all of us actors about the whole scene, what to do and what to basically expect. And you could even see Marty, as the performance is going, Marty is on the corner of the corner of the set, and he's just patiently folding his arm, watching with delight as the David Miscavige character is going berserk and going crazy and physically throwing us around and doing different things like that. So it was just kind of interesting that if this wasn't accurate, why wouldn't Marty have stepped up or said anything? He was saying, bravo, well done, perfect, you nailed it, So that doesn't necessarily lead anywhere to believe that Marty was, put in this little box and, the BBC, had total control and using Marty as a puppet or something, which was totally not the case. Marty was telling us about the different people in the whole, how to act as those different people. Okay, you're, Mark Yeager or something like that. This is how you're going to be. This is what happened. This is the circumstance. And that's how Marty would be in charge of the directing of the scene, what was actually going on. So Marty was in charge of directing the scene, but he wants to pretend now that he's possibly, favorable to Scientology. Now Marty is saying that this was all just a big sham and the BBC should be ashamed of themselves and all this sort of stuff. Well, interesting. I've shown all these emails that say you directed the film. I have your actual script, which I'm going to read from in a moment, to show you some of the language Marty used within the script. So you can just see that this wasn't a dramatization. Marty used language in the script that was very intense. And that's what the whole scene is, and that's what happened in the whole from multiple different accounts from other people besides just Marty Rathbun. So it's just kind of interesting as we look at all of this evidence all together and to see that Marty Rathbun isn't being honest about My Scientology Movie. So let's read some different lines from the script to show some of the language of what Marty Rathbun said. Now I can't show you the full script, I can't post that. Of course, it's probably controversial enough I'm posting stills from the film or posting a couple emails and that sort of thing. I want to maintain discretion and privacy of others, but it comes to a point where Marty Rathbun is now giving emails perhaps to Scientology to discredit someone in Israel. He's giving private personal things to Scientology Council. You can't do that. And if I can showcase some little part of Marty Rathbun to discredit his statements, then I'm going to do that, because I don't think Marty Rathbun is a honest person. And as Jefferson Hawkins said in the film, Marty Rathbun knows where all the dead bodies are. He knows, more things than he's willing to let up. Okay, so this is how Marty describes the whole. Room is about 30 feet by 60 feet. Windows line 2 walls. In front of the windows on one wall are cheap blonde wood office desks. 4 to a cubicle, 3 cubicles if you want to go that route. 2 walls lead towards other offices, 1 has interior entryway. 5 foot by 20 foot blonde wood conference table in the center of the room. So So then he's just talking about the characters a little bit. All characters have tired eyes for lack of sleep, pasty skin from seeing next to no sunshine for months on end. So that's what he described the whole to be. This is like a 4 to 6 page script, but here are a couple inserts of some of the lines that he wrote for the different people in the whole. You fucking sex pervert criminal, everything in finance rolls back to you. Why are you trying to stop COB? Miscavige kicks him in the stomach. You motherfucker, make me wrong like I'm hurting you. I barely touched you, you worthless piece of shit. And here's a Miscavige line. Looks like you are running the same work-oriented slop-ass shithole I have come to expect from you, Tom. So here are just some of the lines, and you can see. So guys, this is it. This is what I have on Marty Rathbun. So if you're watching this Marty Rathbun, and I know you are because you watched my other video as well and you had a comment about that, I challenge you to make a public post. And I challenge you to come at me and tell me where I'm lying about My Scientology Movie. Because I have all this proof, so I don't necessarily know what you'd be willing to, how you can contradict me in this, because you have lied about My Scientology Movie and about other things as well. But this specifically, I'm calling you out on it, Marty. And you address, Chris Shelton, Karen De La Carriere, all these different other ex-members, and you say all these different lies and things about them, which we can all know that it's just Scientology saying all these things. But when I made a very public video about you, you said absolutely nothing. That has 40, 50,000 views, and you absolutely said nothing to address my claims in my last video. And here I am with the receipts and the proof to showcase to the world about you lying about My Scientology Movie. So I don't know what you're afraid of, Marty, or why you won't address me, but I challenge you by making this video. So thanks so much for watching, everyone. Please subscribe to my channel down below. I also have another channel or two. I have a personal channel where I do comedy videos and storytime videos. I'm going to be posting a lot of more exciting videos down there. So please go down the description box below and watch my other channel. I have one with me and my mom, Sherry. We're also doing comedy videos, and we have a channel together. She interviewed me for my channel like a video or two ago. So you guys go check that out. It's a really fun video that I posted with her. And please give a thumbs up on the video, leave comments below, and let me know what you think about my video. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and I have so much more footage and protests and so much more interviews and other things that I filmed, but I had to put this out there for you guys first, just because My Scientology Movie is out right now. It's at ArcLight in Hollywood for the next couple days. It's available on demand on iTunes, Amazon Video. Go rent it, check out the video, and then you can basically see what Marty said, see what happened in the film, and see what I said, and make your own conclusions. So thanks so much for watching.